Hello, and welcome to Titan Radio Live Artist Confessions with Jefferson Denim, an intimate look at the behind-the-scenes lives of professional musicians. I'm your host, Jefferson Denim, and today in studio we have my awesome friend, immensely talented session guitarist and touring guitarist, Mr. Rodrigo Castro. By way of introduction to our audience, Rod, I just want to let them know that Rod has played with Beyonce, you might know her, Ellie Goulding, Natasha Bedingfield, TLC, Bebe Rexha, as you were touring with the Jonas Brothers, Happiness Begins tour, Bootsy Collins, one of my funk idols, played with him, and many, many more. Welcome to Artist Confessions.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. It's just me and you hanging out.
Yeah.
When did it occur to you that this is something that's resonating with my soul? I mean,
for as long as I can remember.
Really?
Before I even played guitar, I was always singing.
Do you remember your first instrument?
Guitar.
Oh, it was guitar from the get-go.
Yeah, from the get-go, yeah.
Okay.
I was 12 when I started playing. But before that, I was convinced that I was going to be a singer and that I was going to be like, that was what I wanted. Like, singing was my passion.
Okay.
I was like, from when I was like 4 or 5, I was writing songs and writing vocal melodies, and I was just very attracted to that.
A bit of advice you gave up-and-comers is to try to play with as many musicians as possible, not be sequestered in your room just practicing all the time.
Yeah.
Can you unpack that a little bit?
You know, at the end of the day, if you want to be a musician, what makes a musician really good is how well he complements the other musicians he or she plays with. And how well you work in a live setting and how your chemistry is with other people. The one thing I've seen a lot is like these young musicians who are incredibly good and who can blow you away in a room by themselves. They get a little nervous playing with other people, and that's normal, and obviously. But, I think what really is important is having that comfortability with playing with other people, with listening to other people. If you're in a room playing along to music, you're not really listening to it because it's the same thing over and over. Like it's like having a conversation with yourself or with a recording.
Let me show you all the notes I know.
Yeah,
right? That kind of thing.
And I think playing with other people also really teaches you the importance of space.
Well, didn't Miles Davis say, music happens between the notes?
Absolutely.
I saw this, by the way, on your media post, speaking of advice for musicians. So I'm just going to read a bit of this. Someone recently asked me what advice I have for them on trying to stand out as a guitarist musician, to be seen more and advance in their career. Actually, you know what? I want to hear you read it. How about this?
You printed this out.
I printed this out. Oh, look, I just happen to have...
And you laminated it and everything.
I
wow.
did.
Okay, so you're going to make me read what I wrote.
I am.
Okay. I like
See if you can own it.
I like how the little emoji came out.
Thank you. I even got that in.
Okay. Wow, I feel like you just like put
Here's
me
your
in,
advice.
Put me in front of
But
the
it's so
class
good. I wouldn't make you read it, Rod, if it wasn't good.
Okay. So this actually is true. Someone asked me for advice that I have for them on trying to stand out as a guitarist/musician to be seen more and advance in their career.
Yes.
So I prefaced everything by saying that I wasn't sure if I was the best person to ask, as I don't know if I really stand out, and I'm still trying to advance my career as well. Because I feel like everyone's always going to be trying to advance their career. No one gets to a point where like, okay, I'm good, I'm here, I've made it, bye.
Right.
That never stops. I said I followed it with saying that I feel like it's so much more important to make people feel something with your playing than it is to impress them with your skill. However, that's not to say that they are mutually exclusive. I think musicians, for the most part, live in a bubble populated by mostly other musicians. I think we tend to forget that all of the music we make and work on is mostly consumed and enjoyed by the general public who aren't musicians. There's been so many times I've shown a video of something that blew me away to Denise, my girlfriend, or someone else who wasn't a musician, and the response is something along the lines of, that sounds really impressive, but it doesn't stir my soul or move me in any way. While at the same time, something that can make me cringe musically can drive people to tears in a good way. Point being, in my opinion, the best music and performances come from somewhere deep inside you, usually a place of pain. And it has the little emoji that goes. It's not to discourage technicality and virtuosity in your playing, but to always make sure it's coming from someplace real and deep. When you move people, they pay attention and they want more.
I'm Cal State Fullerton right now, as are you. That was your entrance exam, and you passed. You are in, brother. Well, you know what that reminded me?
You printed that out of
I know, and Jeff laminated it. It looks so professional. But it reminded me of this Maya Angelou quote, which I love. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
It's very true.
What I love about what you wrote and read just now is that a lot of artists maybe don't, and I'm talking about a broad spectrum of artists, whether it's film, TV, music. Mm-hmm. If you are writing something, if you're performing something, it's not for you. Certainly you better feel it, but it's for your audience to feel something.
Yeah.
And without you being willing to be vulnerable and access that, now tell me if you agree with this. I think most people hope and pray that the arts will crack them open. Please let me feel something. And if they don't, they're like, they'll walk out of that club or they'll turn off that TV show. But if the vulnerability is such that it connects on a deep human, I'm kind of paraphrasing what you said, level, that's what resonates with the public.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. You're very wise, man. That's why you're on this show.
Thank you.
So I know you, and I know many of the different venues you've played and the many configurations of music that you've played. And one of my favorites is, of course, the band Super Naked. Now, Super Naked, for our audience, I don't know, are you guys still getting together every once in a while? No, yes, no?
I feel like, I like to say that...
Not just naked, by the way.
I feel like
Super Naked.
I like to say the band is in hibernation. It never ends. We just go on really long sleeps.
All right. So for our audience, I want to just tell you, when they weren't hibernating, they were effing hysterical. It was such... many mutual friends, Rafe, Matt, Lee.
A lot of people from the church.
I know, right? I had them all come play with me. But, and you were touring with comedian Jon Lovitz, weren't you?
Yeah, we did like a few shows with him, yeah.
Yeah, and so not only were you guys funny, just on your own, and then you were his backing band, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how a lot of people say, oh, honey, it's great you're doing music, but you should have a side hustle. You should have something to fall back on. And since you have an in the comedian realm, I thought maybe we could try you out. If you ever want to explore being a comedian, a stand-up comedian, we could try out some joke telling. So let's just see how this goes. So what I'll do is I'll have you start, and we'll do it together. Maybe we can take it on the road. So let's do this together, shall we? Let's just see how it goes. Actually, let me see your laminated thing.
I'm not a good joke teller.
No, you're going to try this out. You're going to try this out. Actually, yes, you're going to try this out. Go ahead.
All right. Today at the bank, an old lady asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. It's so bad.
I'm just trying to see. Okay. Is the next one the 12-string guitar?
The next one is the thief one.
Oh, here's mine. Oh, sorry, I missed my cue.
Okay.
A thief broke into my house last night. He started searching for money, so I woke up and searched with him. No?
It's so bad.
Keep going. We never know. You never know. Go ahead.
How long does it take to tune a 12-string guitar?
How long?
No one knows. I don't even.
That's for our guitarists out there.
I don't even understand.
Okay, here's my line. Ready? Jesus said to John, yes, I'm going to go there. Jesus said to John, come forth and receive eternal life. But John came fifth and won a toaster.
See, that one was fun.
Okay. Well, now you get to...
That one won.
Okay, well, no, wait, you haven't done yours yet. Here's the
Can I come up with my own joke instead of this one? Because I think I have a funnier one. Okay. Fine,
okay, do yours. I'm still going to read this. I'm going to show you this is still funny.
Okay.
Wait, well, let me do this one, and then we can go out with a bang with you. Ready?
Go for it.
Did you hear about that? Hey, Rod.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that new restaurant called Karma?
No.
There's no menu. You get what you deserve.
That's a good one. This is clever.
Okay. Now, what's your? But bring it home, brother. Bring it home.
I told this one to Jon Lovitz one day when I was at his house, and he like.
Oh, you're gonna pull that? Are you gonna name drop? Wait, I gotta move my foot because I think you just dropped your name on my foot.
Because we were just talking about him, and I was trying to think of a joke, and I remember telling him this one recently.
All right, let's see it. You don't need this then.
Yeah.
Sell it to the camera.
So it said, "Why do cows have hooves?"
Why do cows have hooves?
Because they lactose.
Okay.
It's so stupid.
Do you see? You got a side hustle, my friend. If this music thing goes awry, you are so...
I would never want to be a comedian.
That's a hard road.
I know comedians and really successful ones, and I would not want to do that.
So I think we can say with confidence that it's okay for you to keep your day job, I think. However, you did say on social media, and I think you alluded to this, that you're still waiting for someone to figure out that you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah. But I'm happy to admit it. I tell people all the time. I have like the worst imposter syndrome ever.
Okay. Well, tell me if it was in play when you were asked to play ukulele. This is a gig that I just know about. Now you will know about.
You're really like digging deep on my like.
I do my research, my friend. I don't mess around.
All right.
So the ukulele story, will you please unpack that for me?
I was in a rehearsal and I get a text and someone's like, "Hey, do you play ukulele?" And I was like, "Not really." I'm like, "I have one. It's technically my son's. I gave it to him for his birthday, but I can play it." I'm like, "If it's something really simple, I can do it." And
don't you know, Rod, you're supposed to say right away, "Of course I can."
Well, this is someone that I work with a lot regularly, so I don't have to like put on a front. You know, like
so you said, "I think I can."
I was like, if it's something simple, I can do it.
Okay.
And she's like, "Well, it pays this much." And I was like, "Okay,
I can play ukulele."
And she's like, "But you need to do canon in D." And I was like, I'm like, I don't think I can play that on guitar, let alone ukulele. And I'm like, if we piece it piece by piece, then we can probably pull it off. And she's like, "Okay, cool, just come over." So I came over and did it. And then
you had said that you practiced it, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes, because it was literally like I had to leave my rehearsal, go home, grab the ukulele, and then head over to that session.
Oh my God.
So I listened to
So you're driving and practicing, are you?
Well, so I went over the chords.
Don't drive and text, but you can drive in ukulele, maybe.
I figured we would just layer it. I would lay down the chords,
right,
and then I would do like the lead lines over it, and I started kind of going over some of the lead lines, and she was just like, "We just need like 20 or 30 seconds of it." So I was like, "Cool." So I went over everything, and I was like, "Okay, I can pull it off." And so I get there, and we're playing it, and the note, the funniest thing was the note for that piece just says, "You need to sound unremarkable." And I was like, "I'm your guy."
You need to sound unremarkable. Wow.
Because it was, I guess, it was like a scene for a movie, and I guess since I don't even know what the movie's called, so if I give a little detail, I'm probably not going to get in trouble.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was like a comedy. It was a wedding scene, but it was like not supposed to be taken seriously.
Pressure is off.
Yeah,
Nicely
so I was like,
done.
I can be unremarkable. So,
wow.
We did a couple takes, and then it was the kind of thing that she was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you'll get that check if they use the song." And I was like, that was really misleading. And I didn't, after I did it, I didn't hear for like 3 months, and I just completely given up on it. And I think like literally 3 weeks ago, I got a text saying, "Oh, by the way, they used that." Check's in the mail. And I was like,
all right. So the answer now is yes, I can play the ukulele.
Yeah. But my favorite thing that I said in that post that you read was a quote from Steve Bradley.
Our mutual friend who played with No Doubt and Gwen Stefani. Yeah. I was going to bring up this quote. I'm glad you're bringing it up. Go for it.
Because we were at Dave Tweedy's birthday party.
Oh, right.
Not that long ago. And
Dave and Vicky are going to be on the show, by the way.
Oh, awesome. They're going to be amazing.
Oh, they already are.
And
so
we were just talking about, just being available for things, and always just, people call you, people just say yes, and like the work just comes, And he just said, sometimes the best ability is availability. And I was like, I like that. I'm keeping that one. So I kept that one. And that was literally like days before I got called for that session. So I felt like that,
you already had that
really applied. I was just like, man, just saying yes worked, I could have easily been like, "I'm not a ukulele player, let me find someone who is," which my instinct was to say that. But like, I think someone that I was rehearsing with was just like, "You do now, just tell them yes and go do it, and then figure it out when you get there." And that's what I did. And I was like, cool, that worked out.
Well, so you do battle with, you had mentioned this earlier, and so I want to bring it up again just to poke you with it. Not really, but imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
You're not alone, by the way. Jim Carrey.
Everyone has it.
Yeah, Jim Carrey said in an interview, he keeps waiting for someone to come tap him on the shoulder saying, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
Right? So, but you've been able to wrestle that sucker to the ground, right? And, well, for the most part.
I feel like it's constantly a duel.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's a tie. It's funny, man. Like, I will do these incredible gigs, and work with these incredible people.
We're going to talk about a few in a minute, but okay, keep going.
For like when I say like the imposter syndrome is bad, I will find a way, and not consciously and purposefully, but I'll find a way to make it seem like it's not that big of a deal because I'm the one doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's like that. Is it a Groucho Marx quote saying any club that would have me, I wouldn't join?
It's like it, but it's not like it's that self-deprecating.
Okay.
I just think like, well, if I'm on it, it clearly can't be that big of a deal. It was cool, it was fun, but it's not as a big a deal as what this person's doing.
Got it.
You know,
So,
like,
but that way your mind settles down and you don't freak out.
maybe it could be like a self-defense thing, but it could also just be like I don't give myself praise and things like that. So, and it's not like I'm just beating myself up constantly, but things don't get to me and things don't get to my head because I just, for some reason, don't think they're a big deal.
Well, I know that Denise probably helps you with that. She's very zen.
Oh, yeah,
but what I was
she's
going to ask you about, because you said in another interview there was 2 times, maybe there's more, where you almost talked yourself out of a gig.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was what they had the ticket. What was that story? I think I'm remembering that right. That you had an airline ticket.
Oh yeah. So that was where the whole not reading thing kind of kicked me in the butt.
Right. So here you are. You're an amazing player, and you will believe me not only when he plays in a few minutes, but also when you see the kind of stuff that he has done. But yeah, so that there it comes. There's your imposter syndrome completely haunting you, attacking you. Mm-hmm. And you've already said yes to the gig, but now you think maybe I should back out, right?
Yeah, it was when I said yes to the gig and they kind of made it seem like it wasn't anything crazy or big. And then I get the music and I'm like having to double a Bach concerto and I'm having to do all these things. And they're saying,
can I do this on ukulele?
They're sending me the sheet music and I'm like, I don't read music. And they're like, oh, it's fine. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing this gig. And they're like, the ticket's already bought. Like, you don't have a choice. And I was like, all right. And they're like, if you can't double the part, then don't worry. Like, just play chords. And I'm just like, no, if I have to do that, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to, like, take the easy way out of a gig just because I can. So I just memorized it. It was not fun.
And that is part of your quote unquote unorthodox process, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
So I think I can say with confidence, and I think anybody who's ever played with you can say with confidence that, oh, my friend, you are not an imposter. You bring much love and integrity and just depth of soul to what you're playing. And I'm just going to bring up an incident now where you could have had an imposter syndrome attack, but you didn't, when you played for the Kobe and Gianna Bryant Memorial. You played with Beyonce with that at the Staples Center.
That was like last week.
I mean, everyone knows of this event, and everyone, I think, if you watched it, I did, watched Beyonce's performance. I mean, powerful, profound.
She was incredible.
And there's
so
Rod playing guitar. So once again, I have a post. See, I come prepared, man. So this was a post that you shared, and I would love it if you would read that post for us.
Okay, this is a true story too. It says, this morning I had the honor of being a part of a very special tribute to Kobe and Gianna Bryant playing with Beyonce at the Staples Center. This was really special to me on multiple levels. The last concert I went to with my mother before she passed away was here at Staples Center, and I remember telling her that night that I would play here one day. I did put this in parentheses because I played the Forum in December with Bebe, and I posted about that. And
you thought it was that?
And I thought it was the Forum, but it was actually
Staples
Center.
Center.
Yeah, but they both look exactly the same. That's my and
especially from backstage.
And I have a terrible memory. So I wrote, my mother was a massive Kobe Bryant fan. When I heard the news of his passing, it hit a little harder. It immediately transported me back to memories of us watching Laker games and seeing how happy and excited she would get watching him play. It was truly beautiful and bittersweet, honoring/celebrating the legacy of one of the greatest athletes this world has ever known, while also honoring and celebrating my mother at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then I gave a special thank you to Derek Dixie, her musical director, for having me be a part of something so special. I said, I will never forget it.
And I think many of us won't forget that. But the thing I love about that, okay, besides the obvious, which is what a wonderful tribute and to be a part of such a thing, but what you said about your mom. I mean, I was lucky enough to know your mom.
Oh yeah, she's incredible.
How important is it for an artist? I think I know what you'll say, but how important is it for an artist to have a support system? You had your mom, you have Denise now, your family, friends who love you. How important is that?
It's the most important thing. I wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for my mom. You know, like I battled with a lot of like feeling like a deadbeat son because I was like, you know, working these not great paying jobs and barely getting by and really relying on her for a lot of support for what felt like was maybe a pipe dream that could possibly never come true, you know? And it's kind of weird. Like it was once she passed away that things really started blowing up for me. And it was like the kind of thing like, man, I wish she could see like how much her support really made this possible. But also at the same time, like Denise, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without her. Like not only does she help me with everything, like with, you know, with Micah and everything, but she helps me. Like she is the biggest supporter and the biggest fan and the biggest everything for me. Like you know, she keeps me level-headed. She keeps me grounded. Like without her support in every aspect, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And I would have to think that most, I mean, as when I was trying to be an actor and a musician, my wife, same story.
Yeah.
Same story. And I don't know how, I guess people don't get there without it. You know, and many people maybe have a misconception about when you see the person on stage, oh, they've just done it on their own.
I think the people that do get there without it tend to be a bit more bitter and jaded. I remember you were asking me, like, what are some things that you would like to talk about that you haven't talked about yet? And this, I thought of it, and I literally just remembered it right now. No amount of success, and this is not news to anyone, but be happy before you become successful. Because I feel like once you start getting success, if you don't have that internal peace, it's harder to find.
Because a lot of people think once I get there.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why Jim Carrey will say things like, I wish everyone can get famous and rich and realize how much it isn't what you want. You know, and not to say that I'm famous or rich, but I noticed that a lot of like the things that I maybe haven't worked on, now that I am getting to a place where I'm not in struggle and I'm not in despair, they're kind of like becoming more difficult to deal with. And it's because I've been this, you know, like, did you ever watch Batman? He's like, I feel like the dog chasing a mailman, and once I finally get him, I don't know what to do with myself.
Right.
It's a lot like that.
I
you know, like you finally get like to where you are, and like, you know, people become workaholics. People have like just like find other things to distract themselves with because they haven't really settled with themselves to just be okay. Just not having to do something, not having to strive for something, not having to reach this next goal or this next milestone. So yeah, I mean, as much as you want to focus on your career and succeeding, focus on yourself and focus on being okay with yourself.
At every step of the way.
Every step of the way.
I love that advice. So for our audience, and for me too, I want to know, tell me what it's like to work for, because I know you, with Beyonce, let me get the question out of my mouth. What it's like to work with Beyonce. I know you did like a track for The Lion King, right? And you've done live performances with her. I mean, she's got such a great reputation, so don't burst my bubble here, of being a great hard worker and a true artist. That's the way I, you know, think of her.
That's exactly what she is.
Okay, so what is this like working? Because I know that you know her music director, and tell me about that whole situation, because I know that you guys have a really great, simpatico working relationship.
Yeah. Derek Dixie is, you know, very hands-on. Everything is kind of like him. You know, it's I work with him more than anything. I'm not really allowed to discuss a whole lot.
Oh yeah.
But
non-disclosure agreements and blah blah blah.
But I will really be honest and say that it's an incredible environment. Everyone respects each other. Everyone's very polite. Everyone values each other and recognizes each other's worth. And it's like, we're all here, and it's an amazing, fun work environment.
I mean, that's great testament to the music director, but also to the artists that you get to work with. You had said, since we're talking about recording, that you would, all things being equal, you would prefer to stay home and do recording and songwriting. However, you've had some amazing touring experiences, as we were talking about, opening for the Jonas Brothers.
That was a really fun tour.
So so I guess I want you to expound on that a little bit. What is it like, because these are arena tours, these are huge, right?
Yeah.
For most people who are thinking, you know, 12, 13, I'm going to be a rock star, I'm going to play in front of an arena, man. And there you are living the dream. So can you tell us, because I've never played in an arena like that. Tell us what's that like.
Honestly, that was the first tour I've ever done. Like I've done a lot of flyouts. I'll do like a 4 days here.
Flyouts are just like a 1 day out or a 4 day out.
You go out to do a few shows. Like to me, a tour is when you're gone and you're living out of a suitcase for weeks and weeks on end. So I'd never done that because I never could.
Well, yeah, you had your son.
Yeah.
And, okay, but now you could. And so what was this, like a 3-month tour?
The tour itself was like 4 months. Wow. I did a little less than 2. I split it with her guitar player. And
you ran into Elizabeth, who was touring with Mary J. Blige. Is that right? And you guys took a picture and sent it to me. So nice of you. All right, so tell me about, okay, just pretend we're living vicariously through you, my friend. So here you are at the arena. What is it like? I mean, as you're prepping for the show and then once you're on stage, what is that like?
It's cool. I mean, I honestly didn't have the best experience on this tour, but not for any reason other than like when I got off the plane, you know, like when you have like cabin pressure and your ears are like clogged or whatever, one of my ears popped and the other one didn't. So I was practically, I was like deaf out of my right ear, I think, for about 5 or 6 days when I got off the flight. And keep in mind, this tour already happened. I joined the tour, I think, a month in. So I get off a plane and I'm deaf out of one ear and I haven't rehearsed with them or played with them. There's no rehearsal, no sound check. My tech line checks for me. I just walk on stage and play the show.
So really it's like only wearing one in-ear. Because you can't hear out of the other one anyway.
And like, you know, there's guides, there's tracks, there's everything. So everything's all in my ears.
Oh my gosh.
And so I didn't get a chance to warm up or anything. And it was like that for like a week. I ended up having an ear infection. I've never had an ear infection in my life. And the first time I had an ear infection was when I got off the plane to join this tour.
Oh my gosh.
So that first week was like a little rough.
I bet.
And then after that, I was fine. After like a week or two, I was just like in the flow of it and it was cool.
Now, didn't she, Bebe, didn't she say at certain spots in the songs, you could step out and do your thing? So just, again, we're living vicariously through you, Rod. Okay, now it's the solo time.
There's
thousands of people out there.
Every show is like 18 to 20,000 people.
Okay, and now you're standing, you're stepping forward. What? Okay, explain. Describe.
There's 2 songs in the set every night that I would have to walk to the middle of the stage.
Oh, you'd have to. Wow.
I say have to because I didn't want to.
Oh, please.
I'm dead serious. You could ask anyone in that band. I'm like,
well, you know what? I believe it because you are not someone who's like, I gotta have the spotlight.
Yeah, I'm not like that at all.
But that's why it's cool that you got it. Anyway, go ahead.
It was cool.
Okay, imagine I'm sorry interrupting you. Imagine your 12-year-old self looking at this going, what do you mean you don't want this?
Yeah.
Get out there and play.
I mean, I did it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Okay. It was just, but like, keep in mind that at this point, I'm like, anytime I'm on stage, anytime I'm in front of a lot of people, I'm just thinking, don't mess up. So there were very few moments in every show where I was able to just kind of not think about what I was playing and just be like, whoa, this is crazy.
Okay, so like, most of the time you're just focused.
Yeah, most of the times I'm just like focused and playing, and because a lot of like also that music, like a lot of these pop stars now, they do like really crazy arrangements of their songs, and they're all kind of derived from like gospel. Like, so a lot of reharmonizations, a lot of crazy lines that don't really make sense melodically to me. Okay. Not that they're hard to play, but they're not what I would choose to do. So I'm having to look at my neck and be like, okay, it's on this part, this fret, this everything.
Is that right?
So I a lot of times I'm having to pay attention to what I'm playing and not so much just like vibing out.
Got it. Okay. And you had also said too, like having in-ears, for those who don't know, in-ears is basically, instead of having monitors, you can just hear all the music this way. It kind of makes it a little isolating, right? You even said something like, even though it's a cool vibe, thousands of people, it's kind of like playing, the crowd is in a parking lot way over there or something like that, right?
Yeah, you feel very disconnected.
Yeah. So what then, because I've seen you play at small places. In fact, you know this, I've seen carousels play, I've seen you play in a club with just your loop pedal and your guitar. So tell me, because I know you did that with Natasha Bedingfield when you played at the Grammy Museum. Just a loop pedal and just you and her and the artist. Yeah. And then you were on a radio tour with Ellie Goulding.
Yeah, right? We did a lot of radio promo stuff.
So how do you approach a gig like that where you're the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? You're not part of trying to fit in, the drums will take care of this. You're the thing. You're it. How do you approach something like that?
I just, however like I feel like the song should feel, I make, like my playing is very percussive when I'm doing stuff like that. So I just keep a pulse, and you know, when I'm practicing with the artist, I'm just like, does this feel good to you? Does that feel good to you? And I'm like, cool. And then I kind of lock in with how it feels, and then everything just flows and goes into itself.
Yeah, you're very instinctual. I know that when we saw you playing with Natasha Bedingfield at the Grammy Museum, I just loved it. And you had said too that she's such an artist that she's letting the moment kind of carry it, and you could rehearse one way and she might do something a little different.
Yeah.
And that keeps you on your toes, doesn't it?
And also Linda Perry was like 5 feet from me staring at me playing, so I was just like, I really don't want to mess up anything.
Right.
But the show, it ended up going fine.
Oh no, it was fabulous. Yeah. So you know what, Rod?
Huh?
You know, we're in kind of an intimate space right here, as a matter of fact. I know. I wish we had a guitar and then we could have you play. In fact, we do. So we're just going to take a minute and we're going to set up so Mr. Rod Castro can play a song for us.
All right, fine.
Check 1 2, check.
So here we are with my good friend Rod. So Rod, what is this song you're going to play for us?
This song is called Give Me Your Tears, and it's by my solo project called Carousels, and it's spelled weird. Caroucells.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Rod Castro.
She's a mystery, but only to herself. She breaks her mirrors to hide simplicity. She'll never let it be. She runs away at the slightest hints of love. And here I stay, waiting for the day for her heart to make its way. 'Cause we don't decide who we love. No, we don't decide who we love. I don't wanna feed her fears, but I don't wanna say what she needs to hear. Everything I say just goes in and out her ears. And I know that this doesn't mean as much to you as it does to me. But tell me why you'd ever give your love and take it away. And I pray the day will come that I could reject your love. 'Cause we don't decide who we love. And I pray the day will come that I could reject your love. 'Cause we don't decide who we love.
Wow. Wow. Rod Castro. Let me just regain my composure. That's right, I'm the interviewer. No, dude, I love your music. I love your playing and your singing. How can our audience get your music? I know it's on iTunes, right?
Yeah, it's on like Spotify and stuff. I put out a solo EP called Unum Hominem, which is Latin for one man. And,
that is awesome.
Are
you sure you're not in grad school?
For that EP, I play guitar and I sing and I play drums with my feet.
I've seen this.
Yeah, I have like a kick drum that I set up behind me, and then with my right foot I'm playing like a kick drum, and with my left foot I'm playing a tambourine. So I feel like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. Yeah, I put like a solo EP out with that. and it's all live. It's just one take every time.
And spell the band name again, please.
CAROUCELLS.
That's Carousels.
Yeah.
Carousels.
So it's out there somewhere.
Oh my gosh, dude. Love it. And please, okay, so now that's how we get your music. How do we just kind of keep up with your goings on? How can we follow you? And
I'm on Instagram. My handle's I am ROD CASTRO, like IAM ROD CASTRO. And I usually post a lot of like stories and stuff.
Fabulous. Yes, you do. You're a great storyteller that way. I just wanted to share with you as we're wrapping things up from Rod's social media. He posted something and I reposted it because I believe in it too. You're never too important to be nice to people. And I know, Rod, as you are climbing up the ladder, you've always been kind and generous. And so yay you, yay your spirit, because it comes through in your music. And I love you, you know I do.
It's funny.
And I cannot wish more success on you.
Thank you.
As you said, it will happen as it's meant to happen.
Yeah.
So
it's funny you say that. I did a gig last night, and some guy came up to me and was like talking to me, and he's just like, man, we use you as like a reference a lot between me and my friends. It's like guitar players and stuff, and I'm like, that's really cool. And he was really nice, and he followed me, and I saw some videos he posted, and he was a really great guitar player, so I followed him back, and he sends me a message, and he just goes, "Thank you for being so nice." And I was like, my response was like, everyone should be nice. You shouldn't thank anyone for that.
Well,
but it just struck me as kind of really?
Well, yes, really, because you know the world we live in.
I
Not
know,
everybody
but
chooses
see,
that.
I have Disney goggles where I just assume everyone's really nice and there's nothing really, there aren't bad people until I encounter them.
Well, and then when you do, you go, okay, that's not going to be part of my inner circle. But you give everyone a chance.
I just
You do
assume
give
everyone should be nice and is nice for the most part.
Well, thank you for living that out. So remember, kindness is currency for humanity. And the more you spend that currency, the more you get back. Thank you for watching Titan Radio Live, Artist Confessions with Jefferson Denim. We'd like to give a great big thank you to ROD CASTRO for coming to the studio today. We are broadcasting from Cal State University Fullerton.
Home of Tuffy the Titan.
Home of Tuffy the Titan. I'm Jefferson, and home of Jefferson Denim. I'm Jefferson Denim, and we'll see you next time.
Love you, JD.
Love you too, brother.